gentlemen, the one you've been waiting for, JPZ. What you doing? How you feeling now?
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome back to the Doug Only Podcast. We're on episode 10, and we got some playoff action in the second round that went down yesterday, as well as what's going to go down for today. And let's just get right into it. First game that happened yesterday, game one between the Knicks and the Pacers. Historical rivalry in the NBA. We go back to the 90s with Reggie Miller taking on Patrick Ewing. You go back to the 2010s where we have Paul George taking on Carmelo Anthony. And now we have this chapter of this rivalry where we have Tyrese Halliburton taking on Jalen Brunson. Two of the best point guards going into the NBA that we've seen all throughout this whole season. And let's just get right into this one with this topic. And the first thing I want to touch upon is Tyrese Halliburton. Now, throughout the whole season, we've been crowning him the best point guard in the NBA. Some people have that. It's more of a pick and choose on who you like. Tyrese Halliburton is one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA, despite his awkward form, but he's also one of the best playmakers in the NBA. You see his stat numbers, walking triple-double, easy to get the rebound, loves to set up his teammates. I want to say there's one quote when Pascal Siakam was traded that when Tyrese Halliburton noticed the difference and how he knew that it was going to work between them was instead of Pascal looking for the ball right away off the fast break or off the rebound, he just gave it right to or Tyrese Halliburton. He gave it to Tyrese Halliburton, and he knew, okay, he's going to dime me up. And Tyrese Halliburton is the type of player that he did say in that interview or in that question where, look, I like to dime up my teammates, but it's just them giving me the ball and giving me the opportunity to give it back to them because that's all he wants to do is be able to let them shine. And yesterday in game one, he had a stinker. He had a terrible game that we haven't seen of him, especially in the playoffs. Well, he hasn't really been in the playoffs, but what we expect of him did not come through at all. Only 6 points on 6 shot attempts. 5 of them were 3-point attempts, and those 2 threes are what made his 6 points. Now we had Jalen Brunson, who had himself another 40-point game. That's 4 in a row, and he finished the game with 43 points. Now you see the difference. It's 121 to 117, but it's the fact that Jalen Brunson was able to make timely shots for his team. He was able to make those dagger shots, especially in the pick and roll situation, mid-range. You know, he's one of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA, able to get his spot whenever he needs to. And the one thing between these two specific players is that they're the most ball dominant in the NBA. I've seen if I can find the stat, I'll put it in right here in the picture. But these two players are the most ball dominant players in the NBA, along with Luka Doncic, of course, and you could put Shea in there as well. I want to say, but these two just love having the ball in their hands, and rightfully so. I mean, they make things happen. You see Jalen Brunson, like I mentioned, 44 straight 40-point games. Tyrese Halliburton walking triple-double, able to get his teammates whenever he needs to. Also be able to get his own buckets when he needs to. So that was the one thing that I was looking forward to going into this matchup with this series is the point guard play. And it's only game one, but if this is what we're gonna see going into the future with Tyrese Halliburton taking on the physicality that the New York Knicks play with, then it's gonna be a pretty short series for the Pacers because they don't really have anyone who could take on the burden like Tyrese Halliburton does. I mean, you got Pascal Siakam, but he's not a true number one option. I feel like he's more of a secondary option that he can flow with someone else who's taking the reign. And one big question I was going into yesterday was the play of TJ McConnell. Because with TJ McConnell, he was able to have himself a great third quarter. And I want to say he scored more than 10 points in that third quarter. But overall, had 18 points, 3 assists, 3 steals. I mean, coming off the bench, that's what anyone can ask for. And you take that production away from him, then and you pair that with the production that Tyrese Halliburton was able to put up. I mean, this is a 10-point game. This game isn't as close as it ended. So the question was, should they have kept TJ McConnell in the final lineup in the final minutes going into the fourth quarter? rather and sit Tyrese Halliburton when he was struggling. To that, I would say no, you don't do that in the sense that he's still a threat no matter what. Even though he was having a bad game off night shooting, wasn't really looking for a shot, he's still able to create his own shot whenever he can. He's still able to play make. One of the, like we've been saying, one of the best playmakers in the NBA. He's still a threat that you still have to respect. So him having that weapon out there and forcing New York to be able to play him, double team him off the screen and roll, make life harder for him, he still brings that asset to you. So I think it was the right decision to keep him out there. Some people say, well, got to feed with the hot hand with TJ McConnell. But you keep your star players out there because they're the ones who's going to make the best options or best situation possible for you, especially if they're having a struggling night like Halliburton was. And there's a couple of specific plays I want to go into that happened yesterday. Moving screens, that was a big topic of this game. Now, if we look at this play within the 52-second mark of the fourth quarter, 115 Knicks, you have a double team coming for Jalen Brunson. I'm going to play that for you guys right now. Jalen Brunson's coming down with the ball. Let's pause it right there. Dante DiVincenzo sets a screen to try and get Aaron Nesmith get Tyrese Halliburton to switch onto Jalen Brunson. And you see Dante DiVincenzo coming up, braces himself, kind of lunges towards Nesmith, upper body. And are we calling that a foul? Are we calling that a moving screen? I mean, it's the playoffs, so I wouldn't call it. And then you see Jalen Brunson tries to go for the pocket pass, but it hits accidental off of Nesmith. Now, in the rules, what I've learned is that for it to be kickball, it has to be an intentional kick of the basketball. Whereas if offensive player just throws it out the foot, it's not a kickball. Where we have another blunder by Tyrese Halliburton, where he's guarding Josh Hart in the corner. You have Hartenstein down low, Miles Turner's right there. Pascal Siakam with OG on the opposite side of the corner. Jalen Brunson with Nemhard. And then you have Dante DiVincenzo right there at the wing with Nesmith ready to double team at the wing at the elbow. So let's go right into that. You see the double team coming. Tyrese, why are you playing so down low? If you see that Nesmith is gonna go right there to help, because Jalen Brunson already has 43 points going into the game, or in the game right there, or within the 40-point range right there. Why aren't you helping out Dante DiVincenzo, who's been one of the best 3-point shooters in this playoffs? You know he's a threat on a catch and shoot situation, especially like that game on the line. For me personally, when I saw this go down, I knew right away too much space, too much time. It was gonna knock down. I mean, great contest all in all right there. But if I'd rather have, and you also see Nesmith already getting there for the rotation to go to the corner. 6 seconds on the shot clock when he gets the ball. Great contest, but you're late there. I'd much rather have Josh Hart shoot that corner three than I'd rather have DiVincenzo get that split second open shot right there in the wing. This was a play that really defined the game. We go back and like I said, we go to moving screens. You have Tyrese Halliburton bringing up the ball, and you have the screen and roll coming with Miles Turner, which is a great 1-2 option between the both of them because you have to play Tyrese on the 3-point shot, but if you play too much, he's able to get that pocket pass to Miles or give the pop out to Miles because he's able to shoot the three as well. But you see that Miles doesn't get there in time. You can see Miles doesn't really get there in time. He does set, but DiVincenzo's already making his momentum going that way. So you have some acting as well from DiVincenzo's side. But if you're not going to call the one with DiVincenzo setting the screen on Nesmith, you cannot call this one on Miles Turner. I understand it's guard on a forward, and this one is a center on a guard. It looks worse than the Nesmith one, but if you got to call it both ways. And also, if his game is it's 115, 115, it's a close game. It's the playoffs. It's game one. You know the rivalry between these two teams. You know the history. You can't make that call. You just let it play out by itself. And who knows? Tyrese, he does the step back. He looks like he's gonna shoot because he has all the space with Hartenstein backed up towards more of the elbow area. So that was just a bad taste in my mouth for that one. And that's really what led to their downfall and how they lost game one. What do I expect going into game two? I feel like Tyrese Halliburton is going to come out more aggressive, more looking more for his shot, being able to get his teammates involved as well. But I see him being more aggressive getting his shot because I feel like this is more of a feel-out game for him. Still three more games. New York still needs three more games to go. You're able to steal one in game two, take it back to the crib in Indiana where we know the crowd's going to get crazy, going to be roaring, raucous, all that good stuff. So let's see what happens. I do believe that Indiana will win game two and it will be 1-1. And then from there, who knows? I feel like Indiana will. I think they can win two games back at home, take a 3-1 lead. All right, let's go into our next game. Game two of the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Denver Nuggets, the reigning champs. And for me, as a Laker fan, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Minnesota just because finally someone's beating Denver. We couldn't do it, so it's only right that we get to celebrate when someone else gets to do it. And especially Minnesota, if you know your Laker history, the team originated from Minneapolis, and the Minnesota Lakers. I mean, come on now, gotta go for them, especially with Ant-Man playing. I mean, dang, we're gonna get into Ant-Man, but let's just go into the game in total. We're gonna look at the stat sheet that we have right here, and the stat sheet doesn't really tell everything, but the one thing I want to talk about in this game was the length that Minnesota came to play with in this series, and it's looking to be a problem for the Nuggets. You look back at the 2020 Lakers versus the 2020 Nuggets series in the Western Conference Finals. The length is what really bothered Denver. That was the one thing that I've always thought that if you're able to beat up Jokic and then also have length added to that to guard the perimeter players, you're gonna have a good chance of beating Denver. That was something the Lakers didn't have with Jared Vanderbilt being hurt, with Christian Wood being hurt. I also wanted to see a little bit of Cam Reddish because he does have length to himself as well. And we're seeing it here in this series with Jaden McDaniels and as well as Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Both those two, they're just hounding Michael Porter Jr. Or you have Jamal Murray with Nickeil Alexander taking Jamal Murray full court, especially with Jamal already with that calf injury. You've seen him with the sleeve. Just being able to dog him full court, make him exert that energy that he has. It just it's something that I'm pretty sure that they went into in the game plan about that, talking with that, make it harder, make him waste more energy. If you get burned, you get burned. We're gonna have someone there to take up the rest of it while you get back on defense or get back to your man. So let's just look at the Denver Nuggets side of things because they only scored 80 points in this game too. And this I want to saw something that this was the lowest that they scored since like 2015, 2016. So we look at Nikola Jokic, 5 of 13 from the field. He had how many total rebounds? 16 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 turnovers, 16 points. So we had a 16, 16, 8, and 4 turnovers. I don't know. It's just for some reason these last 3 games where I've seen Jokic, it's and this is going back to the Lakers game series too, where he's been pretty careless with the basketball, and that's something that we're not used to seeing from Jokic. I mean, you have four turnovers this game, and unlike the Lakers, Minnesota is able to make you pay for those turnovers, especially with the youth that they have in Anthony Edwards, Nickeil Alexander, Jaden McDaniels, like we mentioned. All those players are able to run with the basketball, especially in the open court. And that was something that we saw all game with the pressure from Jaden McDaniels, Nickeil Alexander, being able to get those steals, being able to push the ball in transition, get those easy layup dunks. Anthony Edwards got a whole bunch of those going into game 2. And let's go to Michael Porter Jr., who killed us in the Lakers, and all of a sudden we're looking at him now. He's not able to score, not able to make 3-pointers like he was on us, which I want to say is the length is bothering him. Which is why I said earlier, if the Lakers were able to play Jared Vanderbilt earlier in the series, if we had a healthy Jared Vanderbilt, I think that could have made all the difference, because you're getting in because you have Jared Vanderbilt, who is the same size and height as Michael Porter Jr. Wingspan's there. If you're able to, because no one in the Lakers were able to guard him, because 6'10", high release point. That's what really was the ultimate defeat in the Lakers in guarding Michael Porter, not having the length to match up with him. Whereas now you have these two players, and what I saw was Jaden McDaniels on him most of the night, and he made life terrible for him. 4 for 12, 1 for 7, no free throw attempts, 5 rebounds, 4 turnovers as well, only 9 points. I think that's a great job on the defensive end. Let's go to another guy, and we're going to get into this guy because I've been sick and tired of him, honestly. And that's going to be Jamal Murray. 3 of 18 from the field, 0-4 from the three-point line. He had 13 rebounds. Okay, I'll give you that, Jamal. And only 8 points. So he had 8, 13, and 2. Now Jamal Murray, same thing with Michael Porter Jr., that length. I already went into that blunder about the length, about him bothering him, so we're not going to get into that again. But one thing about Jamal Murray is that I want to talk about is the antics that he did with throwing a towel first at a referee, then going into the heating pad that he threw onto the floor. And let's just look at these videos, because it's 2 videos, but let's look at them. First, you see him trying to throw the towel at the referee. Towel guy right there, they're able to pull the towel. Media guy got the towel, so no one could slip and fall off of it. Same play, and he throws the heating pad right after. I mean, like what's up with that? Like, that's totally first of all, it's unnecessary. Second of all, someone could get hurt. If someone slips on that, you could turn an ankle. You could tear a hamstring, because if you slip, you stretch the wrong way, your leg is done. Whether that be your teammate, if it was your teammate and you did that, I know the intention wasn't there to do that, probably just out of frustration. But if you did that to your own teammate, let's see who was on the floor at the time. You have Jokic, and it was in Jokic's area. Throws it. Cause I know Cat. When I saw it, Cat almost slipped on it. So, what should the NBA do about this? Because he wasn't given a technical, he wasn't given any punishment during the game itself. So, what should the NBA do about this? Because this honestly is this isn't good behavior. This is what's the word? You just can't do this, man. As a hooper, as a professional athlete, it looks bad. But just as a hooper in general, it just looks like you're a crybaby. And what I think the NBA should do, I think there should be a suspension, honestly. Some people may think that's too far. You're going to take out one of the best players in the league in the playoff series. That's going to give Minnesota an extra upper hand going into game 3, already down to 0-2. But antics like this is what can hurt someone's career, can end a career, can definitely hurt someone in the turn of series right here. So I just think from the potential of the potential outcome of what could have happened, not magnifies, but supersedes what actually did happen. So I'm actually calling for a suspension right here. And you can agree with me or not, but my reasons are my reason, and that being that what could have happened shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have been a thought of what could have happened in the end. Nah, that sounded stupid as hell. Let me say that again. the way I explained it is that what could have happened shouldn't have been a thought of what could have happened, is what I'm trying to say. If you get me, shout out to you. If you don't get me, I just messed that whole thing up. But yeah, suspend Jamal Murray. Do it, Adam Silver. Do it. He deserves it. And now for today's game one between the Mavericks and the Thunder. We look into the season series. The Mavs lost this series 1-3 to OKC, or OKC won the series 3-1. And there's a lot of narratives going into this matchup. I mean, you have the Shea versus Luka matchup, best point guards, best guards in the league, best players in the league. Who's going to be the face between those two? Because those two are definitely in the discussion. The Maxi Kleber injury, just that's going to play a big part because he's able to play down low and also able to extend the floor and with his shooting ability. And after taking that hard fall last game against the Clippers, it just didn't look good. Didn't come back from the game. That's going to play a big part. But let's go into that Shea and Luka conversation because these two arguably deserving of being the next faces of the NBA. I mean, you have the number one seeded Thunder, which was led by Shea, walking bucket. Both of these players are walking triple doubles, able to get their teammates involved, able to score whenever they need to. I would say Shea is more efficient with his scoring rather than Luka, but both players are able to just dictate and do whatever they want on the court whenever they want, able to control pace. That's something that these two players do well because they're both not the fastest players. They are pretty stronger than most of the players and they guard them, but they know how to create tempo, how to cause tempo, how to just they know how to dictate the tempo, and it's gonna be who's gonna be able to do it better. My one thing, especially in the group chat that I am with a couple of friends, is the one thing that is gonna hinder Dallas, in my opinion, is the fact that they rely on the 3-pointer, a lot of running, and they don't have an interior game. You look at it on the roster, you have Daniel Gafford and you have Derek Lively. Both of those players aren't post players. Can they make some post game touches, make some post game buckets right here and there? Yeah, they can, but it's not something I'm going to be going to back and forth every possession or look to explore on the mismatch because they do have a mismatch. I mean, Daniel Gafford has a lot of weight on Chet. Derek Lively, I wouldn't really say he has more. He's not stronger than Chet, but for sure he's bigger frame than Chet. So both those players, I don't really see them being back to the basket guys, being able to exploit that. Whereas you would have if it was the Lakers with Anthony Davis, or you had Nikola Jokic, or you had who's another one who we could put on Chet, or Sabonis. Just those are some players that I'm thinking of right now off the top of my head from the West that I think would give them trouble. Who's gonna outrun who? Because like I mentioned, OKC, they're a young team. Young teams do what best? That's run. Play defense, play hard defense, and just run in the fast break. That's what they love to do. Same thing with the Mavericks. I mean, they're the perfect example of run and gun of what the Warriors were, but not to that extent of making the amount of threes. Well, they do make those three attempts like that, but they just don't play defense like that. And I think that may, I don't know, I'm not sure whose favor that can be in because both teams like to run. Who's gonna outrun who is basically what I'm bringing this down to. If OKC is able to just be able to play better defense and be able to get more opportunities out there and take care of the ball and lessen Dallas's opportunities, then it's going to be OKC. Vice versa, if Dallas is able to play good defense, limit OKC's fast break opportunities, and be able to exploit the Thunder on defense and have their fast break opportunities, convert them, then they're gonna win. So it's just who's gonna outrun who. That's what I think you're gonna go down to. And another factor that I see for going benefiting OKC is that the togetherness that they have, the camaraderie, the brotherhood. Because if you've ever played sports and you've ever been in a team where it wasn't really the most talented. Now, not saying that the Thunder aren't talented, but I'm just saying in the sense that if you have a team that likes to play with each other, they're actually friends, then that chemistry goes a long way, especially when it comes down to playoffs. I can speak on this from experience because when I was in high school, uh, my senior year with the Franklin Panthers, we had the best chemistry. I mean, you have us at lunch kicking in with each other all summer, training, kicking in with each other, going to tournaments with each other, playing Saturdays at the local gym together. We were just always together, and that's what I'm seeing from OKC. And the way that helped us was we didn't really run too many plays during our season, but we just knew how we played with each other, and that's what brought the difference because we knew each other's spots. We actually wanted to see each other succeed, and just that combination together I would put us over the top over many teams, especially because we were able to go to the finals and we beat the number one seeded team, which was a difficult one, I have to say. It just goes to show you that you have togetherness, you have the talent, it could take you a long way. And I think that's going to benefit OKC. And that's why I am going to be choosing them to win this series in 6 games. Based off that, I think they play better defense. I don't think Dallas is going to be able to exploit that mismatch with the size down low with the post game on Chet. I think that because of the better defense that OKC has, it's going to create more opportunities in the fast break game, which young legs love to run. So I got the OKC Thunder winning in 6. And that's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Share it with your homies, parents, baby mama, baby daddy. I don't really care. Just help me get out the word. And stay tuned for episode 11. We're going to come up with some more breakdowns of this playoff series games, all that good stuff. So catch you later. Peace.
The end is near, I'm never gonna act different. People out here bugging out, saying that I don't listen to their words, and for what? Try and catch me slipping every time I'm driving on a hater, look like Scottie Pippen. Hey, this the West Coast, aka the best coast.